Hello friends, I welcome you all to another video by Officer's Mind. Today we'll be taking a look at another important part of personality, that is officer-like qualities. In this video, I'll be talking about the ways to assess them and develop them. Gentlemen, for all of you, it is very important to understand what these officer-like qualities are, especially for people who are planning to get into the armed forces through something called SSB. It stands for Service Selection Board. This is a particular process in which officers for the Army, Air Force, and the Navy are selected through this particular procedure. It is a 5-day procedure that is not only conducted in India but in various parts of the world so as to select officers that are suitable for the Army. Now, gentlemen, these particular officer-like qualities are 15 in number. They start from factor 1, that related to your mind, factor 2 your heart, factor 3 guts, and factor 4 are limbs. They are generally categorized into these 4 factors which are named differently. In this particular section, I'll only be taking a look at factor 1. I have divided this particular officer-like qualities into different parts. This is the first part in which I'll be talking about factor 1 especially. Now, why this particular video is important to you? Gentlemen, it is very important for you to understand how these qualities are being assessed in your interview. What are the questions asked to you for which he wants to check any of these qualities, and how you're supposed to build these qualities over a normal course of time. First, I'll be explaining you these qualities. After this series is completed of all these factors, then I'll be coming up with ways to develop these qualities. Now let us straight away go to the first one. The first slide, basically, as I told you earlier, we have 4 parts or 4 factors. The first one is organization and planning, second one is social adjustment, third one is social effectiveness, and the fourth one is mental strength. I'll be taking a look at the first particular part over here, that is organization and planning. In this, we'll talk about effective intelligence, organizing ability, power of expression, and reasoning ability. Gentlemen, remember, if you do not have these 2 qualities from factor 1, the first one is effective intelligence, the second one is reasoning ability, you will never make it through your SSB. These 2 qualities are very important because there are certain qualities which are trainable and there are certain qualities that are non-trainable. So these 2 qualities are non-trainable. Whatever you have learned in this particular course of life, they are based on that. And SSB believes that, this procedure believes that these 2 qualities are non-trainable in nature. So if you have to get through SSB, these 2 qualities are something you definitely need. Now I'll be taking you to certain questions that are asked in the interview, on basis of which the interviewer is just trying to know whether you have these qualities or not. Let us take a look at the first quality in the organization and planning factor. This particular quality is the effective intelligence. Let us try to understand what effective intelligence actually is. For different kind of people, effective intelligence exists in a different way. For certain people who are good at drawing or good at arts, it is based on their visual and spatial thing. Certain people are very good at linguistic or the verbal form, like they're good teachers. So for them, effective intelligence is being utilized over here. Certain people, like a parents or certain counselor, they are very good at interpersonal communication. They use their mind over here. There are certain people who are good at their work. They are intrapersonal intelligent. Certain people are very good logically. That generally there are scientists. Certain people good with musical instruments. People who are athletes or have good control over the reflexes, they have a lot of physics going on in their head all the time so that they can judge distance and accordingly plan a particular move. And there are certain people, like we say, farmers, they use this particular intelligence on the ground to grow their crops in the most intelligent way, basically. So there are different kind of people that exist in this society and they all have effective intelligence, but in different arenas of life. Now you need to understand that how this particular thing is being assessed in your interview. Let us jump on to the first part. The first part here is being practical and resourceful. By practical, I mean whenever you respond to any of the questions asked in your interview, you need to answer them practically. You cannot say that if there is a village that is in the remote area and suddenly you got a situation over there, that is your car has got some heavy damage done or its engine is broken. You cannot think of a particular car showroom or a big car garage in the village where you can take the help from and get your car repaired. If you're saying that I can take the help from the village itself, it is a illogical thing. So this is something you need to understand. You have to be practical in nature. You cannot just put things in a hazy way or in an incorrect way. Second is being resourceful. What do you mean by being resourceful? Well, gentlemen, it is very important to understand that resourceful means when you're able to utilize all the resources around you. If you're able to utilize most of the resources around you, you will actually be able to save a lot of time. It is possible to do any particular task with just one resource. But if you look at all those resources and use all of them, it will save you a lot of time, and that is called being effectively intelligent. Just completing a task might make you intelligent, but saving time will get you this first adjective as well, that is being effective. Next is all your achievements that are actually mentioned in your PIQ, be questioned upon that, and you will have to show a responsible answer towards them. Like, how did you achieve that particular thing? The process involved, the resources used, that is, whether you took somebody's help, how did you utilize your own time to get all such achievements, and what did you do after that? Now, these are two important things over here that are quite related to each other. First one is drop in percentage or gain in percentage, and second is success or failure. These questions are quite related to each other if you look at them. Now, any drop or gain in percentage has come out of certain reasons. You must have utilized your time somewhere else and not focused on your studies, and that is why there is a drop in your percentage. If there is a gain, you must have utilized your time effectively, and that is why there is a gain. Now he is just asking you, how did you do it? What were the reasons? You need to put down everything logically. If you have lost your percentage, you need to accept it. Acceptance is very important in SSB. Acceptance. Anyways, through your eyeball movement or through the way you appear, the non-verbal gestures, he'll be able to judge whether you're lying or you're saying the truth. It is always better to speak the truth, and it shows your self-assessment. Let us take a look at the next point, that he will judge you on this quality. He'll ask you, how do you manage the money that you get? If you are a student, how much money do you get and where do you spend it? And if you're working somewhere, then what is the income and how do you spend your income? Now, financial management is a very important aspect because it shows that if we are able to spend our money wisely on things that we need and we avoid overspending, then definitely we are utilizing a resource of money very effectively. Next important part is very hard to understand but holds a very good importance in SSB. This is time management and utilization of spare time. You'll be asked this question every time. How do you spend your spare time? What are the activities that you undertake? How much time do you give to your parents? Or what is your schedule? You will be always questioned upon this. Whenever you ask this particular question, you must be ready with an answer where it shows that you're utilizing your time in the most effective way by undertaking things that are productive in nature. And you must know everything about those things. Again, I focus upon the self-assessment part. If you're able to know yourself, then half the battle of SSB is already won. Now he'll be asking you a lot of questions about yourself, and if you have assessed yourself properly, your strengths and weaknesses, the things that you love, the things that you don't love, your favorite teacher or not so favorite teacher, you need to answer these questions very practically. Very practically. The last part is handling real life situations. Here he comes to asking you certain things that you have encountered in your life, and out of those experiences, what have you gained? And utilizing those experiences, can you answer the SRT he puts up to you if he asks you an SRT? Now let us take a very basic example of an SRT. While you were on your way to market, your bike got punctured. Now when your bike got punctured, what will you do? Will you stand over there, lock your bike, go to the market, buy stuff, come back, unlock your bike and drag it home? Or you're a person who just drag the bicycle to the nearby market, give it for repair, collect all your stuff, come back, found the bike repaired, got back home. In this, you'll be saving a lot of time. You need to understand that this is how you have solved this particular problem using your practical intelligence and all your resources. This is how effective intelligence is being checked. Let us move on to the next quality under the organization and planning part. It is called reasoning ability. Well, whatever information you get from your surroundings, you have to analyze the information very properly. Second is, this particular information that you analyze should have certain relevance or should hold certain truth. Next is, you have to be objective and not emotional. Being objective means being unbiased and not involving your emotions in your solutions or your decisions. The fourth one is devise solution to the problems. Now, when you've got all this information, you have analyzed the information, you're objectively trying to sort out the issue, you need to devise solution to the problems by keeping all these things in mind. You need to break your ideas into parts. At times, the complete idea might not be able to implement in a single go. So you need to break your ideas into different parts by using all your reasoning and then solve a particular problem. Whenever you have already implemented a particular plan, you need to evaluate what you have implemented and then revise your ideas to come up with better forms of them that are important and can be utilized in future. Now let us take a certain look at things that are seen in the SSB interview, the question that I put forth to you. First of all, I'll take you to this important part, that is girl. Don't get surprised. By this I mean, first one is G. It stands for getting essentials of a problem. Now, when there's a problem right in front of you, you need to understand what the problem is. And that is the first thing you need to do. By understanding the nature of the problem, you will actually be able to start with analyzing information and then devising solutions for it. Next thing is inquiring attitude. Now, how does this help you? This helps you in gaining knowledge. Now, when you have a lot of knowledge, you can actually utilize this information in making your decisions. It will help you make a better decision. It might save a lot of time as well. Third thing is receptivity. We all hear a lot of things, but do we all listen to what we hear? This is very important. If you listen to all the things, you might be able to retain a lot of them, and that can actually be used in your decision making. Next thing is logical reasoning without emotions. I've already talked about this thing, that being objective is important and not involving your emotions in your decisions actually helps in making better decisions. Next part is your depth of knowledge. In SSB, the interviewer always checks your depth of knowledge. He might ask you this by putting up general ability / GK questions to you. Now, when he asks you this, he's just taking your depth of knowledge. And he might also ask you certain things about your basic life too. If you play a particular game called football, he might ask you about the game and the different rules of it to check your depth of knowledge. This is related to your inquiring attitude and what have you retained after that. Again, awareness about your surroundings. Now here you're questioned about your news. You are questioned about the place that you come from. You're questioned about your family. Your question about your education. All these things actually tell me how much you have retained or how much inquiring attitude you had while doing all such things. Next thing is overcoming failure. Well, every time you achieve success or failure, there are certain reasons attached to it. Now, are these reasons put logically in front of him, or they have been biased by the emotions of getting rejected if they're put straight away as truth in front of him? You need to speak the truth, arrange it, and arrange the information that you've got, and then answer these kind of questions. How did you overcome failure? There are certain reasons why you failed. If you're able to analyze or assess Analyze yourself, assess yourself. If you have been able to do that, you will actually be able to give a good answer to him that is quite realistic and practical in nature. Now, next is keenness to learn. This again relates to the inquiring attitude. Now, whether you are the person who takes initiative in learning or adapting to new behaviors, new things around you, like a new language or something that is being taught in your class or visiting a particular place, do you have the keenness to know about them or not? Now, this thing is very important for you to understand that keenness is important to develop a good reasoning ability. Now, we should look on to the next part of this particular chapter of organizing ability, and this is called organizing ability. Now, this particular man over here, he is a person who works in the office and who does so many things in a day. He makes his own programs or works on his projects. He also has to handle social things. He also has to give time to himself. He also has certain objectives that he's supposed to achieve. He's doing a lot of calculations, signing a lot of contracts. This man has good organizing ability. That is why he's happy after doing all this. How did he achieve them? The first thing is you need to prioritize. Prioritize the things around you. Then you need to do time management. When you are effective at time management, you will be a good organizer. All these things I'll discuss when we'll talk on how to develop these qualities. Right now, let's just see how these qualities are being assessed in the SSB interview. Well, he'll ask you to arrange the resources that you have. He might put up a situation to you. He might ask you regarding the things that you used in success or failure, or the kind of, like, if you are studying in a university, how do you utilize the resources of the university to grab knowledge? It might be taking you to a particular, like, you have libraries, you have teachers. How do you utilize all such resources to enhance your knowledge or to work upon yourself? He'll put up your daily routine. He'll ask your daily routine. What is your schedule for the day? And there actually he'll see what are the things you prioritize. If you are able to prioritize properly, then definitely your daily routine would be very productive. Next is balance in routine. We all have a routine, but do we live a balanced life? Are we too much stressed out? Or we spare time for our own selves? This is very important. Next is tackling difficulties. When this particular candidate was put into certain difficult times, or when he was facing certain difficulties, how did he organize his thoughts, his resources, ideas? After putting all these things in a grind, what is the decision he came up with? This decision, did it help him to overcome his difficulties, or he got more fixed in them? This is how he checks your organizing ability. Next is organizing events. He can give you anything, starting from a sports event, college fest, a particular visit, planning a tour, expedition. Now, gentlemen, I need to ask you this: how can you do all these things without creating a chaos in your mind? It is very simple and easy to understand. Whenever you have to organize an event, first part is plan. In your mind, what is the basic task about? Second is get approval. The third one is get a team, and a suitable one. Suitability is important. Selecting the best resources. Next is allotting tasks. Next is proper supervision. Next is rehearsal. And finally, coordination of events on the main day. This is how you will be able to organize any event. But in the upcoming videos, I'll share a lot of things about how to organize these events and help you a lot. This is what is organizing ability about, and this is how you should tackle it at your SSB. Let us look at the fourth aspect of this particular factor, organizing and planning. This is power of expression. To a woman who was so scared of getting up on the stage, to a woman who's very confident looking at people, utilizing all her non-verbal gestures to be able to gain attention of the crowd. Well, you can see this woman who's smiling and being able to deliver whatever she has in her mind and is being able to express herself so confidently to the crowd. Power of expression is actually related to your confidence plus your knowledge. You won't have confidence if you don't have knowledge. If you have knowledge but no confidence, you'll not have this power of expression. Let us take a look at the various ways in which an interviewer checks your power of expression. The first one is ability to convey your ideas. Well, gentlemen, if you have a lot of knowledge but you're not able to organize your ideas, after organizing your ideas, are you able to confidently speak in front of the crowd? How can you be confident when you're clear headed? Only then you can speak confidently to the crowd. Make them understand what you're saying. Next is substance while speaking. Well, I talked about this aspect of knowledge. Substance while speaking, does he speak something that is valuable or he just a chatterbox? Just keeps blabbering, has no content in it, and is just trying to be attention seeker. Next one is impact on listeners. Well, the crowd that you're speaking to, whether they are influenced by your thoughts or they just feel that you are a chatterbox. This is what is being checked. Next thing is verbosity. Well, this means that when you have no content, no organization of your content, and the content is not logical to the situation given, you will land up in this area, the gray area of verbosity. Next one is logical and fluency. Well, logic can easily be seen in certain aspects. When a question is being asked to you, tell me something about your family, and you start speaking not about your family, but you start with your own self. Has this question been asked to you? You have been asked a completely different question, so you have to logically attempt everything that comes to you. For that, you will have to start with the basics. That is analyzing the information that I talked about in reasoning ability and organizing ability. Logical influence. Now, fluency is something that can be attained in a particular language only by speech training. I'll be taking this particular aspect in the later stages. I'll talk about speech training and how you can build fluency. I'll take a separate video on this. Well, gentlemen, these are the various things by which your power of expression is checked. A person with a suitable power of expression will definitely have all the other qualities in the organization and planning part. There's some people who speak very confidently, are very knowledgeable, but then they fail to have impact on their listeners because they're not good listeners themselves. People don't listen to what they say. That is why they fail most of the times. So we see that a good speaker fails in SSB, but one who's a patient speaker, good power of expression, glorifies his SSB procedure. There are various ways by which these four qualities are being checked. We have come up with this. Now, after this, I'll be taking up ways to build all these qualities in a separate video when I complete my this particular aspect of the OLQ part. How are they being checked? Let us take a look at this particular proverb. Leadership is the sum of all qualities of intellect, human understanding, and moral character that enables a person to inspire and control a group of people successfully. Well, leadership is something that cannot be built in a day. If you have to understand the chapter of leadership, you'll have to understand all these OLQs. You will have to know ways to build them, and only then you can be a profound leader. You need to be intellectual, you need to be good at human understanding, and you need to be morally upright. That'll make you a good leader. Well, for this, you need to start today, and only then you will be a winner for life. Well, gentlemen, I have covered the first aspect of organizing and planning. The next three factors I'll be covering up in the upcoming video. So stay tuned to the channel. Please do share this video, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for viewing more such videos on personality and leadership. And I'll be taking up the aspect of SSB also. Stay tuned to the channel, gentlemen. Thank you for watching this video.